Defensively, Paddy would do this like some amateur shit. And I'm surprised.
Listen, we all do that.
These are things that when Justin fights Ilia Topuria, it's gonna be different. He's gonna fight a shorter opponent, somebody that could really keep his freaking hands up, that just understands the finesse of fighting.
We have to realize now they put together a game plan for the opponent. Justin will make those necessary adjustments, but like you said, Ilia is a different monster, so that will be an intriguing one to prepare for.
Greatest 3-fight win streak in the history of the sport. He knocks out Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and then Charles Oliveira. It's the greatest 3-fight win streak in the history of this. Ilia didn't want to make 145 anymore. So it felt like it's too draining for his body, and he'd be even better at 55. Turns out he was right. He's even better at 55.
Charles Oliveira steps up and lays out the future of the lightweight division, backing Ilia Topuria to knock out Justin Gaethje at the White House, move up to challenge Islam Makhachev, and declaring that a win over Max Holloway would make him next in line for the title. Charles Oliveira said, "I think Topuria and Gaethje will fight at the White House, and Topuria has every chance in the world to knock out Gaethje. And at the end of the year, Topuria will move up to fight Islam Makhachev and vacate the lightweight belt. So if I beat Max Holloway, I'm definitely next in line for the title." Charles Oliveira is also confident that a win over Max Holloway puts him right back in the title mix. He believes he draws bigger numbers than the two fighters set to compete for the interim belt and plans to prove it in the cage. Oliveira says he's going to deliver a statement performance, get his hand raised, and once he does, there won't be any debate left about who deserves the next shot at the lightweight crown.
O UFC não é um jogo, né? Você tem que aprender a jogar com ele, senão você vai ficando para trás. Vamos voltar um pouco. O Topuria tá passando um momento ruim da vida dele ali, e ele pediu um momento de poder ficar, né? O Ilia Topuria poder ficar fora. Então a gente tem aí dois caras que vão lutar pelo cinturão em janeiro.
Interino.
Né? Interino. E aí, 2 meses pra frente, eu luto pelo BMF. Eu acho que, com todo o respeito do mundo, eu vendo muito mais do que os dois que vão lutar pelo título, tenho muito mais carisma do que os dois que vão lutar pelo título. Então, querendo ou não, eu já entro com o pé com força ali na beirada. Né? O Arman, pra mim, era ele que ia lutar pelo título. O interino ou o linear, um dos dois, na minha mente ali. Porém, eu não sei o que acontece que não colocaram. Então, querendo ou não, eu acho que eu vendo muito mais do que o Arman. Então, se eu vencer, não. Eu vou vencer, vou fazer uma grande luta e eu vou vencer essa luta. E sendo uma grande luta e eu vencendo, eu acho que eu estouro a bolha e eu sou o próximo a disputar o título de novo.
Charles Oliveira is intensifying his strength and conditioning work ahead of his rematch with Max Holloway, targeting the power, endurance, and resilience required to perform at his peak in the octagon. Brazilian mixed martial artist Damian Maia describes Charles Oliveira as the embodiment of jiu-jitsu. Maia explains that Oliveira has always carried the flag of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, adding that he doesn't just practice it, he lives it. In Maia's eyes, Oliveira isn't someone who does jiu-jitsu, he is jiu-jitsu.
Foge, Elvis, foge, Elvis, foge. Boa! Cara, o Charles, ele sempre levantou a bandeira do jiu-jitsu brasileiro, né, do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Isso eu acho que é muito legal, porque tem muitos lutadores que até competiram mais que ele no jiu-jitsu esportivo, mas não levantam a bandeira tanto quanto ele. E ele é o cara que tem um jiu-jitsu nele, ele é o cara que ele não faz jiu-jitsu, ele é jiu-jitsu.
Meanwhile, Max Holloway also heaps respect on Charles Oliveira, calling him a complete mixed martial artist. He highlights Oliveira's evolved striking, noting that many of his finishes start with punishing opponents on the feet before transitioning to submissions, making him a lethal blend of stand-up and grappling.
Oliveira, he's just a killer, you know. I think that, you know, before everybody knows jiu-jitsu right now, but his striking came a long way. And if you see most of his finishes, a lot of the time, it's not Hail Mary submissions that he's finishing people. He's hurting them on the feet, blocking them, and then getting a submission. So at the end of the day, he's a real mixed martial artist. You know, I saw an interview that he said, you know, the first time we fought, he was jiu-jitsu Oliveira, now he's an MMA Oliveira. I respect that. I agree with that. Come March 7th, though, we get to see, we find out everything,
Holloway also acknowledges Oliveira as a threat in every aspect of the fight, but stays focused on his own game plan. He aims to pressure Oliveira, control the pace, and deliver a performance that earns even more fans.
Oliveira is Oliveira, man. He's dangerous everywhere. Like I said, striking, dangerous. His jiu-jitsu game, no question about it. I just need to be smart. I need to fight my game plan. I need to go in there, do what I got to do to get my hand raised, and that's what I plan on doing. I plan on going in there, getting in his face. We're on Paramount now. A lot of people are tuning into to these number cards. A lot of viewership is around, so I plan on making new fans come March 7th. I mean, defending the BMF title is awesome, bro. I love it. It's a title. It's a spectacle. Only certain people get to even put their name in this. A lot of people throwing their names in the hat, but not a lot of them are gonna get chosen for it. So at the end of the day, being one of the chosen ones, having the second time to defend this title is amazing, and I just can't wait, man. I just can't wait to show the world what I've been working on, and can't wait to introduce some new fans to the sport. It's gonna be a great one.
Expressing his thoughts on this matchup, Arman Tsarukyan favors Charles Oliveira to beat Max Holloway in the BMF fight, though he admits Oliveira can be inconsistent. Tsarukyan hopes for Oliveira's win so he can secure a rematch, believing he clearly won their first bout and now wants a decisive finish to remove any doubt.
Твой прогноз на бой за титул БМФ Оливейра-Холлоуэй. Как пройдет бой, кто выиграет?
От боя зависит. Оливейра иногда просто выходит, так плохо дерется, иногда выходит просто там нереально дерется. Непонятно от настроения человека. Так что я все равно больше склоняюсь, что Оливейра сможет выиграть.
Тебе потенциально было бы интересно подраться с победителем, если бы UFC гарантировала, что это будет следующий претендент на пояс?
Да, конечно, было бы интересно подраться. И надеюсь, что Оливейра выиграет. У нас есть предыстория. И сделать реванш. Некоторые говорят, что я там сплит decision выиграл, но я считаю, что я выиграл единогласно все раунды, доминировал. И просто зафинишировать его и показать людям, что это не было случайностью, это было реально, что я даже на тот момент, 2 года назад, был выше классом, чем он.
Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo believe the ideal headliner for a White House card is Ilia Topuria against Justin Gaethje. They see it as the perfect opportunity for Gaethje to score a defining win on a historic stage, emphasizing how meaningful it would be for an American star to face a top contender in such a high-profile setting.
There's a lot of speculations going on. Oh, is Conor going to come back? Is John going to fight Pereira? What Dana is kind of, is not uncertain about. But I believe with performance like this man has delivered each and every time, I believe Justin and Ilia potentially becomes the headliner for that card.
You're 100% right. And you're 100% right, and it should be. It should be. It should be. If you want to talk about, being fair competitively, especially in the performance that he puts, like, why wouldn't you? Right. In the perfect picture, you would want Justin to fight Ilia, beat him at the White House while being an American. Now, will that happen? Fuck.
On the other hand, there are a lot of talks going on for an Islam versus Ilia fight. However, Islam Makhachev has already confirmed his fight with Ilia Topuria won't take place at the White House event, noting that Topuria already has an opponent and the UFC isn't prioritizing that matchup at the moment.
Ислама, если Илья и Gaethje сразятся в главном событии, ты бы согласился бы со главным поучаствовать?
Так не принципиально для меня драться со главным или в главном. В начале карьеры я дрался в первом поединке турнира. Так что это не такой принципиальный вопрос для меня. Думаю, в Белом доме точно не будет, потому что у него уже есть соперники. UFC в этом бою пока не заинтересован. У меня уже есть потенциальные соперники. 3-4 человека в моем дивизионе в 77 килограмм, которые уже, можно сказать, заслужили драться за пояс. Так что я думаю, ближайший 2026 год маловероятный поединок.
However, Michael Bisping believes Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria would be the ideal main event for a White House card, saying the stage calls for a fight that can match its significance. He expects these two to deliver an unforgettable night with the elite action fans would want from such a historic event.
Put an event on at the White House and not have the fight card just blow everything else to smithereens, right? This thing has to deliver, and it absolutely will. And they're going to put together the most incredible night of fights that us fight fans, UFC fans, could ever imagine, right? And there's no bigger fight right now, in my humble opinion, than Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria.
Furthermore, Islam Makhachev also dismisses comparisons between his fight with Ian Garry and the iconic Ireland versus Dagestan showdown. He stresses that the original rivalry was on another level in terms of stardom, skill, and history, and he doesn't see his matchup reaching that magnitude. Makhachev insists Garry simply isn't in that same league.
Можно ли назвать бой с Гэри такой второй частью ирландско-дагестанского противостояния?
Как говорится, с Алиэкспресса, да?
MMA Guru previews a potential Islam versus Ian Garry clash, predicting Islam would control the fight. He notes Garry could have brief moments with striking or a strong round, but his power isn't enough to seriously challenge Islam. Fans are cautioned not to overhype Garry. He's dangerous, but Islam can manage his offense without losing control.
I'm going to go with Makhachev over Ian Garry by decision, but I think Garry will like cut him open and like take a round off him or something, you know? Here's all I'm asking from Ian Garry. If you like tear Makhachev's ACL or some shit with a stomp, come on, Ian. Lose, but give him something that's going to make him weak and vulnerable for the next one. He is very hittable, though. A lot more than it seems. And he's not as powerful as he seems. Yes or no, chat? The conceptions around Ian Garry's finishing potential is all from the Daniel Rodriguez fight. Head kick rocked him and then finished him off, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, watch out, anything he throws. You know, he can tag you and put you away. But I think fighters need to like start not believing in that anymore. You can see them very timid.
However, fans are still excited about the Ilia versus Islam fight. Mateus Gimro believes Ilia Topuria would struggle badly against Islam Makhachev due to the size difference. In his view, Topuria is simply too small, while Islam is physically imposing for the division. Gimro argues that to realistically compete with Makhachev, a fighter needs comparable size and strength. Otherwise, the gap becomes too much to overcome.
Fair or unfair if Ilia Topuria fights for the title in his next fight?
He was champion in the featherweight division. Maybe this is fair. Maybe no. This is politics, you know, in the UFC. Too many movement. For me, interesting fight, but another. But I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy, and I don't think that Topuria has changed against him. You know, like. If you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, like similar like him, because he's good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Bryce Mitchell insists Ilia Topuria isn't unbeatable, saying the key to beating him is clear. If Islam Makhachev or Arman Tsarukyan can get him to the ground, they'd gain the advantage and put Topuria in real danger.
If Islam gets on top of him, brother, he's in trouble. I will say that. But he hits harder and better, and is just more precise at punching than Makhachev. That's why he's got so many knockouts.
How would you rate Arman's wrestling, and how do you see his potential fight with?
Well, you tell Arman I was sick as a dog that fight, and it would have been a proper fight, and I should have let the fans know. I probably shouldn't have took the fight. Anyways, I won't fight sick again. That's the one fight that bothers me to this day. I can't believe that I let my pride get the best of me, and I took that fight. But yeah, if Arman gets him down, he'll do great.
Bilal Muhammad also sent a warning to Ilia Topuria, cautioning him about calling out Islam. He made it clear that stepping into that circle is different, and if Topuria thinks he wants that kind of fight, he needs to understand exactly what he's asking for. According to Bilal, if it turns into a war, Islam and his team are more than ready to match that energy.
Yeah, I mean, be careful what you wish for, right? If you're Ilia, you know, you got a lot of guys in your division, you still have to fight. Ilia's getting to that point, right, where you're undefeated, you're getting a lot of hype, so now you're just starting to call out and, you know, play that game of trying to be like the next McGregor. But you don't want to mess with Islam and them because, like they said, like it's different there. You want a street fight, they'll street fight you. They're not Islam doesn't care about, oh, let's get paid for it. Like he sees you, you disrespect him, and he's going to show you what disrespect means from Dagestan.
However, Robert Whittaker views Ilia Topuria as a next-level fighter, blending elite striking with sharp grappling. He points to Topuria's timing, reactions, and ability to punish errors as what makes him so lethal. Whittaker adds that even Justin Gaethje from his last fight would struggle, stressing that major adjustments would be required to make the fight competitive.
I'll just lay it out there. Ilia's striking is leagues above everybody.
Yeah.
Like just about everybody in the UFC.
Yeah, man.
You know, and the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is there as well. His timing, his instincts, his instinct to fire off in like his counterattacks. You know, he'll make you pay for every step you take. It's a hard fight.
Yeah,
Things
man.
have got to change in Gaethje's camp to make the fight competitive.
Yeah.
Right now, the Gaethje that fought Paddy won't beat Ilia right now.
Yeah.
But that's not saying that we'll see that Gaethje when he fights Ilia.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just the game plan for Paddy to just make it doggy.
Michael Bisping also weighs in on the fan backlash toward Tom Aspinall. Bisping stresses that top contenders are supposed to face tough, competitive fights, not look for an easy way out. He points out that a double eye poke caused Aspinall's injury, and months later, he's already had multiple surgeries, proving the damage is real. Drawing from his own experience with eye procedures, Bisping emphasizes that no fighter willingly endures that level of pain.
We want to see legendary matchups as fans. We want to see good matchmaking. We want to see two guys that are the best in the world going toe to toe and pushing each other to the limit. And that's what we saw, right? It was a competitive matchup, but that's what you're supposed to have when you're fighting the best people on the planet. So it's not that he was looking for a way out, it's that he got double poked in the eye. And now, as we say, here we are, 4 months later, the man has had surgery. Not one, apparently he's had 2, right? And you can see the damage on the eyeballs, right? Anytime they mess with the eyes, I've had multiple eye surgeries, right? I lost my retina. You all know this story by now if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen this shit, right? Yeah, I lost an eyeball and I had a lot of surgeries. Now, granted, right, the way that I'm looking at this picture here is when we see Tom and he's lifting up his glasses and he's probably playing up to his social media guy, you know, but you can clearly see the damage, right? And nobody wants to have eye surgery, right? The eye surgery that I had initially was a scleral buckle, where they kind of take the eyeball out and then they put a silicone band all the way around the eye. But it's a very, very messy, unfortunate, painful business.
Wade Plemon warns that Aspinall's situation is escalating, adding uncertainty to the UFC heavyweight division. He admits the path forward is unclear, but stresses that Aspinall's career and the division itself could be at a pivotal moment.
Gone from bad to worse for Tom Aspinall, which means things have gone from bad to worse in the UFC heavyweight division, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but this is becoming a major, it was already a major story, but it's becoming a company-changing story at the UFC. Tom Aspinall's career may effectively be over. But when we had people calling Tom Aspinall a quitter, when we had people saying that this was nothing more than a champion not wanting to lose his belt, so he just dipped out of the fight and used the eye pokes as an excuse, I told you guys you were crazy then. I'm saying it again now. That is one of the most online MMA fan quote expert takes I've ever seen from people that have never fought anyone, from people that have never experienced a fight, and from people that quite frankly have no idea what it means to be in any physical altercation. I'm sorry. Most MMA fans have never.
That wraps up everything from today's video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates on this thrilling showdown.